Bearing a sword in one hand and his jack-o'-lantern head in another, the horseman cometh in the dead of night. This headless demon rider usually appears from the mist atop a snarling stallion. Some say he hunts wrongdoers, others say he is a spirit of vengeance, and both are right. For you see, MythStorian, the Headless Horseman is not one legend, but many. History of the Headless Horseman. Greetings, MythStorian, and welcome to a special Halloween edition of Myth Stories, Animated Legends. Today, we document the history of one of Western mythology's most terrifying and absurd mythical creatures, the Headless Horseman. From the US to King Arthur's Camelot, there have been many legends, fables, and myths involving warrior spirits and their mares. First up is a horseman most of you will be familiar with, the rider from Sleepy Hollow. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Sleepy Hollow. In Washington Irving's Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the horseman is thought to be a soldier who was killed during the Battle of White Plains in 1776. This is the time of the American Revolutionary War. This classic tells the story of the God-fearing and superstitious man Ichabod Crane. We follow this journey to Sleepy Hollow in the village of Tarrytown. Crane quickly falls in love with one Katrina Van Tassel, a local farmer's daughter. Problem with this is that the woman already has a suitor in Brom Bones. Bones is quite the lad, and he doesn't like Crane one bit. The two compete for the love of Katrina. And that all comes to a head one fateful autumn night, when after a party, Crane walks home alone. He sees the Headless Horseman along the way, and the beast gives chase. Crane flees and is never seen again. Bones later marries Katrina. Whenever the subject of the horseman or Crane comes up, it is implied that Brom Bones was actually the horseman in disguise. It's a shame Crane didn't have Scooby-Doo and the gang on hand to crack the case, right, MythStorian? Things might have turned out quite differently. It was Bones all along, and he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. The DULLAHAN. Travel across the pond to Ireland and you'll find a much more terrifying being, a rider called the DULLAHAN. This creature comes from Irish folklore and, believe it or not, is said to be a fairy. But Tinkerbell the DULLAHAN are not. They are imposing figures, usually sat atop a black horse. Both men and women can be one. Legend has it, this headless rider stalks the Irish countryside, with a rotting head adorned with a creepy Joker-like grin. The creature is usually shown using a human spinal cord as its weapon. How quaint. The Irish believed that when a DULLAHAN called out someone's name, it would take their soul. They also believed that if one stopped riding, then someone was going to die. But to deter or eliminate a DULLAHAN, all you need is gold. That's right, MythStorian. Put some gold in their path and the problem will be solved. No more DULLAHAN. The Wild Huntsman. Next, we travel to mainland Europe, where it is said a rider known as the Huntsman prowls the woods in the early morning. According to an old German legend, a woman was out early one morning when she heard an old hunting horn being blown. The woman was seemingly not perturbed by this. It was just a hunting horn after all. But she heard it again, not long after, and this time it was much closer and much louder. When she turned to see what it was, it is said that a headless rider appeared before her, sat atop his beast. This isn't the only German tale. others tell of a rider who will blow his horn to warn others not to ride. But there is yet another German legend, and this one tells of a spirit of vengeance and justice. It warns wrongdoers and criminals to look out for a headless rider and his pack of fiery black hounds. The Green Knight. The story of the Green Knight is one of the most famous tales from King Arthur's Camelot. It relates the story of Sir Gawain, a knight of the Round Table. One day, the Green Knight visits King Arthur's court and makes a bizarre offer. The knight tells the court that anyone can strike him with an axe, but only if after 1 year they will take a return blow. Sir Gawain accepts the challenge and decapitates the Green Knight. But to everyone's surprise, the body of the knight picks up the head and then reminds Gawain of his promise in 1 year's time. Gawain goes through a series of trials and adventures before his inevitable second meeting with the Green Knight. But when it transpires, the knight only gives Gawain a small cut. Stories of the Green Knight in English folklore are thought to represent the devil and pure evil. EWAN. Our final rider comes from the Isle of Mull, near the northwestern coast of Scotland. There it is said that an ancient battle took place among the clans of the island. Legend has it that the dispute amongst the clans was brewing for some time. You see, they couldn't decide who would be their new leader after the current chieftain passed away. One thing leads to another, and the son EWAN gravely insults his father. Hearing this, his brother challenges him to a battle. Now prior to this battle, EWAN encountered a fairy. The story goes that she told him, "If tomorrow morning you are given butter with your porridge without asking, then you will be victorious." EWAN hates this and curses her. FYI, MythStorian, you shouldn't curse a fairy, especially a Scottish one. Needless to say, what happened next didn't go well for EWAN or his head. He didn't get his butter the next morning, and when the time came to draw steel, it was off with EWAN's head. Team EWAN lost, and their rivals won. But after this, it is believed that EWAN haunted his clansmen. It is said he would gather their souls and come for them when they perish. Thank you, MythStorian, for watching. We hoped you enjoyed this special. We are 1 year old this month, and over 5,000 subscribers strong. We only upload once a week now. That way, we can focus on one topic and provide you longer videos that will supercharge your mythological know-how. Why not check out our special on how to beat a Chinese vampire? Or, if you're in the mood, journey into the lost city of Atlantis.